here at Money 2020. I'm speaking with Ben from Quavo. They're a fraud and dispute solution service. Ben, can you tell me more about Quavo?
Yeah, so we're a SaaS-based solution for issuing banks, credit unions, FinTechs, and processors. Really anybody who's issuing cards to cardholders.
Yeah.
We're focused on how can we help them through that claims process for both fraud and disputes to continue to build the trust in their cardholders.
Okay.
You think about it, when you have fraud on your account, you're the victim. You're calling your financial institution asking for help. Our goal is to make that as easy as possible to get the information, recover those funds without the bank having to offset that loss, but making sure that we're, being good partners across the board.
So help me understand this, right? From your end, if something happens to my credit card, I get compromised, I'm going to call the bank and say, listen, I think I was a victim of fraud.
Yeah.
At that point, I'm not interacting with the bank, I'm interacting with Quavo.
So the bank's handling that. So let's say you call into the call center, we can actually integrate into the bank's online and mobile presence. So you can log in, and what they'll do is they go through a questionnaire, right? And these questionnaires are typically mandated by Visa and MasterCard to say, hey, from a recovery aspect, here's the information we need to go work with the merchants.
Okay.
So we streamline that process so you as a cardholder hopefully only have to interact with your bank one time.
Got it.
So now they're getting all the required information to be able to do an entire investigation, which in the US, right, Reg E and Reg Z mandate, they have to do a thorough investigation on their end. They're capturing all of that data up front, and then they can, again, with us, we integrate into their core systems so we can automate accounting.
Yeah.
So we have thresholds that they may say, hey, Ambi, we want to give you that credit of $100 because we know you're a good cardholder. Or maybe they're like, Ambi, that's $7,000. We're going to hold off and do our investigation. If it doesn't happen in that first 10 days, then the regs kick in, right? And all of that can get automated on our side, from regulatory protection to recovery rights with Visa and MasterCard, so that ideally these financial institutions can do it cheaper, faster, but better.
Got it.
Impacting their cardholder. Because at the end of the day, the cardholder doesn't care how hard it is on the bank side. They're the victims. So we want to make it easier for them to build that trust.
So the question I have for you is, prior to Quavo, what was the process like for the banks? Did they exceed that 10 days on a regular basis? How did that work?
So it's very manual, right? From the intake questionnaire portion, people were building it out themselves. Through that recovery and resolution process, typically it was solved with heads. Okay, we need to bring in more people.
Oh,
right?
wow.
What's crazy about, we're here at Money 2020, AI is all the rage.
Of course.
Detection is always a hot topic. There's been millions, if not billions of dollars spent on detection. Please continue to spend the money. Like, we're never going to say don't spend that money. But at the end of it, the outcome has been more fraud. And so what our goal is, hey, how do we help that fraud reduction? How do we help, so you don't have to, hey, if our fraud's going to grow 10% year over year, I can't continue to grow my staff 10% year over year. So we're trying to take that more automated approach to a problem that's historically been solved just by, hey, either we're going to auto pay certain things because it costs us more to investigate it, or we're going to have to bring in more and more staff every single year.
No, that's like really interesting. Where do you see the future going in terms of your vertical with fraud and things of that nature?
Yeah, so for us, our goal is to work with our clients, work better with their detection process. So again, we're on the back end. Fraud got through, it beat your detection strategies. So now we can actually pass your data back to you, and you can start making better detection decisions based on what's coming through the door. So we know that AI is a game changer, right? Clients that utilize it, we're going to get machine learning, we're going to get better at finding these things. So are the fraudsters, right? And we see it in a kind of a cyclical pattern where if you look back to COVID, check fraud became huge because they were issuing paper checks. Everything was in lockdown, so it went back to kind of that more old school fraud. Fast forward a year or two later, card fraud increased dramatically in 2022, 2023.
Interesting.
all of our clients this year, guess what they're telling us?
What?
Check fraud is huge again.
Really?
And so we see this kind of cyclical transition. And the problem with fraud is it's always a game of catch up, right? As soon as, whether it's legislation, whether it's regulation changes, anything like that, it's, hey, a year or two ago we saw this issue and we're going to try and fix it now. Fraudsters have already moved on to the next thing.
Of course.
So they're utilizing just as much AI to say, hey, here's how we're going to drive more fraud. So our goal is to get data to our clients faster so that they can make better decisions rapidly.
Ben, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time here in terms of explaining what Quavo does and how it's impacting the industry from a fraud perspective and so forth.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Good.
Thank you.
Understanding the technology that powers the money is essential. Knowing the business drivers that inspire how the money is made is crucial. Bridging the gap between the mind of the technologist and the mind of the business is monumental. That is what TBF is all about. Let's start this never-ending conversation. It's time.